Good morning everyone, welcome to Sputnik channel. Today we will show you pro tips how to take better photographs of people, how to level up your photography when it comes to people, and no doubt it will improve your performance despite the equipment you use. And we will talk about 4 basic rules that you don't find a lot on other channels. So stay with us until the very end. First rule we will talk about, just to introduce you with things we will explain, is how to use geometry and architecture to benefit your photos instead of distracting with some very strong shapes. There are some tourists passing by with this, suitcases, and probably you can hear it on my microphone. However, this is the first tip, how to use architecture and background for your benefit. We have Sally, our friend from Cameroon, with us. Beautiful model, and she will pose for us today. Sally? and I will use Nikon, in this case Z6 Mark II with Tamron 35 to 150 lens, which is great and very universal lens to take photographs of people because it's a bright lens. So it starts with f.2 and it ends up at f2.8. So pretty bright lens for such a range. Wonderful lens and very good for taking photos of people. Just for sake of science, I'll be using automatic mode, so like pre-selection of f-stop. So f-stop will be like the brightest possible. In case of 85, it's more or less 2.7 on this lens, and it will select automatically like the shutter speed. I have autofocus on, and these rules that we will show you today apply to any system and any camera, even your phone that you use. So it doesn't matter that I'm using Nikon for fun because I got this lens for tests, and I didn't use Nikon for a long time, and I actually like it a lot. It's a very good camera. But please remember, all the rules are usable and on any system. One of the things I forgot to mention is that every system has something like a display button. It's different from system to system. On Nikon it's here, on Sony it's here, on Canon it's somewhere, I think here, but not sure exactly, I don't remember very well. But when you juggle through different display modes, you always find a leveler mode, and you can see for yourself that helps you to level your camera. And it's not there for nothing. It helps you to know if your camera is leveled or not, and if your shapes in the frame will be straight or not. Just a simple tip that works with every system. Okay, so we will start with showing you how to use architecture in the wrong way behind Sally and how to use it in a good way. Let's take first shot and I will show you how to do it wrong. Okay, so you can see that this shot, well, Sally looks beautiful, the f-stop is right, the blurry background is there, but it doesn't look really good. Why? It's messy. So you see that the shapes behind the stairs and the gate are a little like, a little rotated, and we are not parallel to the stairs. So there are 3 main things you have to consider. So to level your camera, not to raise it too high, because then you see the shapes go like that. I will show you. And to also be parallel to the shapes. So like that, you already lost a lot when it comes to geometry. Now let's do it right, and I'll show you, and you will see the difference for yourself. Now can you maybe see it real quick? I will show you another photo. Now you'll see the bad example. Evidently a bad frame, but Sally still looks great, but the photo, the surrounding doesn't work for your benefit. Now let's do it right. So once again, we level our camera. We are very straight, parallel to the stairs, and we don't do anything dramatic like that or that. We just go straight on, we zoom in. So once again, we are not talking about architecture photography here, but rules that are connected to architecture photography can be used anytime in portrait photography and model photography, as you can see. So now you can see again, before and after, big difference. Small changes, big visual impact. Now let's move to rule number 2, So we will talk about strong lines behind the model and how not to decapitate your model and how to avoid disturbing shapes behind. Another pro tip when it comes to taking photos, good photos of people, and it's strongly related to shapes and architecture, which we mentioned before, and it also works with Horizon, is to avoid strong shapes behind your model. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but a lot of times it's you as a photographer that choose the background. And I selected this place specifically because there's a lot of cars, there are trees, there are signs, you can show it even. Like, it's like, how can you do a beautiful session here? You can, if you just follow some simple rules and you understand, for example, that putting strong shapes behind your model's like neck is like decapitating your model visually. So that's So you can even you can even see some pictures from our archive where we did that before, and we stopped doing that as soon as we saw that it's just wrong. So be careful, because things you will see cannot be unseen, and you will always see those mistakes in other photographers' work. But today we are showing you how to cure your photos and how to make it better, even in this kind of scenarios where there's a lot of cars and distractions, which usually is the case because that's the world we live in, right? Okay, so now again I will show you some wrong examples. This background is pretty clean here, but we will put a strong shape just behind Sally's face, okay? And we will even make it a little twisted, right? Like that. Okay, and we have two very bad photos. So first of all, the shape of the wall is just behind Sally's back. Not good. We didn't stick to the rule we learned before to keep our camera leveled, so it's like little off twisted, and it doesn't look good. It just looks bad. And this place actually has a lot of potential. So now we will ask Sally to make one step forward. We will clean the background and we will use all the rules we know. No strong shapes behind. I'm trying to find some solution here. Maybe one step back, sorry. Yep. Voila, much better. Still, there's a strong shape behind, but maybe we can use the tree behind. Much better. This location is not my favorite, honestly, but it works. You can make it work if you just see those rules, that they really work. But now let's try something different. Let's try to get away from the background. Okay, thank you, that's it. I'll go much further to get some blurriness. I'll go down, my camera is leveled, and I use 150mm to basically lose the background. Everything leveled. Can you twist your body a little bit more? Exactly. And can you give us like smile, nice smile? Beautiful, that's it. Amazing, thank you so much. So as you see, from strong shapes behind her, from like pictures that are twisted and not leveled, we came to this, to level picture, and the face of Sally just shines in this background. No distractions, and that's the rule number 2 to follow in practically every photo shoot. I'll show you one more thing. When something sticks out of model head, look at the situation here. We have a portrait photo and there's a light pole sticking out from her head. That's nothing you want to do, right? So basically, strong shapes and selection of background is super important. But when it comes to selection of background, let's move somewhere else and I will still show you how to do it right. This will be the 3rd tip for today, and then we'll go to 4th tip, the best one in my opinion. Okay, so we moved to a pretty epic location. This is old town of Faro, a very old, like Portuguese little town in southern Portugal, where we actually live, and this is like, as you see, beautiful because it's February now. But anyways, like in this location, what I want to show you is mainly that the two rules. Like, first rule is how important is the selection of the background. So despite having a bright lens like f1.4, even 1.2, even if the background is very much out of the focus, it still matters which background you choose. And be careful, when you choose background and you like go around your model, it will affect the type of light you are dealing with. So like the angle the light like interacts with your model. Let's see how selection of background affects the photograph, and you will see for yourself how dramatic the difference is. We have 100 millimeters now, and now the background works to our benefit. Now let's see. Now the background works little not to our benefit, or here. As you can see, like when I walk around Sally and I choose different backgrounds, some backgrounds work and some backgrounds just don't work, are messy, like there's a person behind, there are distractions, and some backgrounds help despite Sally looking all the time great. She's posing great and the light is great. Not every background will serve us. And now let's go to 70 millimeters because I was on 100 millimeters. Now let's go on 70 millimeters and let's like place stop sign here and then some distractions there. This frame is super messy. So let's make it right again. Okay, so I hope you could see with the pictures now how background affects the photo. Like, it's so important. Despite it being out of the focus, it still matters how it looks. It still matters if you have a lot of mess, a lot of shapes behind, or you put your models in the right spot and you take a photo from the right angle. So avoid distractions in background. And the last thing, now we'll show you how location and positioning of your model, like how far your model is from the background, affects the photo. So we'll ask Sally to come here. And we have this graffiti behind here. This will beautifully illustrate my point. So a lot of amateurs, what they do, they put their models right in front of the object. If you want Sally and graffiti to be visible, that's all right. But if you want Sally to shine, her portrait to be beautiful, and background just be a background, now you see the difference? Let's ask Sally to come closer, even closer, even closer. Yes, beautiful. And now let's take the same shot again. Camera leveled, good framing, we avoid distractions in the frame. And one thing, the longer the focal length you use, the more blurriness of background you get. So if you have a zoom lens, specifically it's such a great zoom lens like this Tamron, you can make it work. You can make it work for you. Can you see the difference? Now, instead of distractions, instead of seeing this beautiful graffiti behind, it's a street art for sure. But instead you can focus on the beauty of the model. And that's what you want. If this is a couple, if this is a family, whatever your photo shoot is, if it's a wedding, you can use all those rules. So just real quick, let's recap. First, remember about geometry. Second, don't put strong shapes that cut through the body of your model. Third, remember that even if out of focus, background does matter and it affects the light on the model. And third and fourth, keep your model away from the background if you don't want the background to be part of the photograph and you don't want this background to be visible and you don't want visual distractions and you want your model to shine. I hope those tips helped you guys, so please don't forget about thumbs up, likes, of course subscribe, and we see you guys in the next one on our channel.